Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to call the Edinburgh EDC meeting to order. It's now 5:03 p.m. If you will, please call the roll. Here.
Roland Gomez is running late. Ronnie Rivera. Here. Dan Diaz.
Here.
Sabrina Walker Hernandez is also running late. Raul Resendez. Here. And Eddie Garza.
Here.
Great, you have a quorum. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. Number 2, certification of public notice. Can we verify that it's all been on file for the required amount of time?
Yes, the agenda was posted on October 21st, 2022 at 4:10 p.m.
All right. Number 3, disclosure of conflict of interest. I know we've all heard this, but let's go ahead and allow Omar to give us the statement.
I try to get through it efficiently every time.
Very quick.
Under state law, a conflict of interest exists if a director or certain members of that person's family has a qualifying financial interest in an agenda item. If there is a conflict, the director can't participate or vote on the item. Are there any conflicts to disclose?
None.
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, public comments. Did anyone sign up for public comment today?
No, ma'am, not today.
All right, thank you. And number 5, director's report.
Yes, we just have a few updates.
Excuse me,
including-
just for the record, our board member Sabrina Hernandez has walked in. Walker
Yes.
Hernandez.
If you look at the packet, we did include a few updates on sales tax and building permit information. If you notice, sales tax for the fiscal year is up 14%. That includes collections through August of 2022. Total 14% for the year. We have our unemployment rate decreased by 0.7%. We're at 5.1 for the month of September 2022. We did have an increase in building permits. Multifamily was a little over 5 million and commercial a little over 2 million with an increase of 8% for the same time period as last year. Included in that multifamily permit, we did have 2 new subdivision plats that made up that 5 million number for building permits for residential. We do have a few events upcoming. One with the chamber, they will have their annual banquet, and just wanted to make a little announcement. They will have their annual banquet November 16th at 6:30 at the Edinburgh Conference Center. Parks and Rec will have their fall festival and trunk or treat at the Edinburgh Municipal Park on October 27th at 6 p.m. The city will have a Chapin Pond Walking Trail ribbon cutting November 4th at 10 a.m. and a Veterans Day Parade on November 5th at 10 a.m. We also included in your packet separately, we have a flyer for a meet and greet for the new Edinburgh EDC director that the Edinburgh Chamber of Commerce is hosting on Wednesday, November 9th from 5 to 7 at Society 204 on Cano. And just wanted to invite the public to join us if they could to meet and greet our new director and get to know him a little bit. And then lastly, we're hosting a job fair with Texas Workforce that will take place November 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Bert Ogden Arena. And this will offer veterans and their spouses an exclusive time with employers from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. and will be open to the general public from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Lastly, I just wanted to announce the Spark program that was in place for the facade improvements concluded October 1st. We assisted a total of 58 businesses, and there is some additional monies that can carry forward for additional similar type programs as we discussed. And so we'll probably bring that up at a future meeting when our new director starts. And that's all I have for today.
Okay, I noticed there was one page you didn't touch upon, but on the marketing, I think we've got our analytics. Are we seeing an increase in the Google searches and other
There's a slight increase in the Google searches. We are looking at, our newsletter will be coming out this month. We're doing this quarterly. Staff is preparing those, and they do their quarterly newsletter, so the next one will be coming out this month. And those go out by email and are posted on our website as well. And so we have seen a slight increase in our, on our website numbers, but we also have our landing page, as you recall, with the Maquila maps advertising that we're doing, and so we're hoping to get some information on that page as well.
Okay. All right, any questions for Mr. Ramirez? Okay, and thank you for the information. I see, I don't remember what that, in 2021, the $28 million, I know one month we had a $28 million in June of 21 in the commercial, which is really high. It makes it hard to catch up with that, but it looks like the numbers are overall pretty good.
Oh, that
Okay.
was last year, yeah, that was last year.
Yeah,
We can go
last
back
year.
and look at that. It might have been, you know, a larger project that somebody might have been doing.
Yeah, it must have been a very large commercial development. Okay, so now, under item number 6, regular agenda items, the minutes. We've had a lot of meetings recently, and so I want to thank all of the board members, because I know we were looking at the interviews and for the Economic Development Director, and then we had some other meetings on real estate, and so we've been very busy, and I just want to thank y'all, because I know how busy everybody is. So we have approval for minutes of board meetings on September 28th, September 30th, October 4th, and October 12th. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye or raise your right hand. Okay, the minutes are approved. And then item B is to discuss and consider appointment of an Economic Development Corporation board member to serve on the Midtown District Development Board. This is the housing project that we were looking at that involves UTRGV and the city and the EDC. Now, I don't serve on that board, and Hiron was serving on that. Of course, now that Hiron's gone, we have a vacancy. I don't want to serve on that because I believe that with UTRGV, it would be a conflict. Raul is our other member that serves on it. But I thought that perhaps, and I reached out to him and said, hey, do you think you would be willing to serve in this? And Mr. Dan Diaz, since he's also with the city and kind of would be able to be there in two capacities. He said he's willing to serve, so I would like to make a motion to have Dan Diaz serve on that committee if people are comfortable with that. Okay, so can we get a motion?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve Mr. Dan Diaz to be on the Midtown Development Board.
Second that motion.
Okay, all in favor say aye or raise your right hand. Okay,
One abstaining. I don't want to vote for myself.
would you like to vote for yourself?
One abstention.
Well, I just want to make sure that everything's okay.
Well, there is one consideration. So the city of Edinburgh also has 2 appointees to the board, and currently the mayor and the mayor pro tem are the appointees. So if Mr.
That would make a
Diaz
quorum.
were to be an appointee, that would create a quorum of the city council for Midtown Development Board meetings.
Okay,
And currently, they're not subject to Open Meetings Act, but they would be if there were 3 city council members involved in the meeting.
well,
That changes it. a
that
bit.
changes
And they
everything.
both show up to the meeting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If I may make a recommendation.
Of course.
It's a highly, it's a really good project, and a lot of very good people engaged in what we're doing in the Midtown. It's been we've had some really awesome meetings. I would like to consider Eddie. Eddie, if you're good with it, it's highly developmental in terms of real estate construction. I think he can add a lot of value in light of his background.
Yeah, enough said. I'll make a motion to appoint Eddie to the Midtown
Agreed, yeah.
Committee.
Well, I think it's understood that the prior motion is withdrawn, right?
Prior motion
So
is withdrawn.
We'll just move forward.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have a motion by Raul Resendez to appoint Eddie Garza, and we have a second by Ronnie. Okay, Ronnie DeVita. All in favor, say aye or raise your right hand. Great. Thank you, Eddie. Thank you
All
for
right.
serving on that.
Thank you, Counselor, for that.
And I had mentioned it,
old.
thank you for bringing that up. I had mentioned to Eddie what the project was about earlier today, actually, and so, and he was very interested in it. So I think he'll be a great asset to that committee. Thank you, Eddie.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Consider approval of the removal of an authorized signer for the Economic Development Corporation accounts at Texas National Bank, Techstar, and other financial institutions.
Yes, this is to remove, the bank is asking that we have minutes to remove our Director of Finance that is no longer with the city, and so we need to just formal approval by the board to do so.
Okay, and that will only leave you and...
And you.
And me to sign? Okay,
Yes.
and is it, and it's okay to just have the two signatures?
For the
I
time
guess-
being, until we can get the director on
Okay.
board and
All right, can we get a motion then to remove the authorized signer?
I make a motion.
Okay, all in favor, say aye, or raise your right hand. Okay, motion approved. All right, LIF Fund. So I know that we had previously
Yes.
had agreed on a proposal that had been submitted by LIF Fund. If you recall, this was the entity that provides small business loans. And at that time, I think we'd agreed to 50,000, is that right, Ed?
It was 20,000 and buying down the interest to 5%.
At 5%, okay. And so they have a new proposal for us to consider, and it's been in your packet. I'm not sure if you had a chance to look at it. But the new proposal, is it 100,000 at 2.5%?
Yes, and up to 50,000,
Up to 50,000 in a loan?
right.
Okay, so, and I was looking through this, so the way it would work is, we would be buying down up to $100,000 in interest, but the person that takes out the loan would be paying a 2.5% interest instead of a 5 or 10% interest.
8 or 9%. Yeah,
9%?
9% interest. So we'd be buying down the interest rate from the 9% down to the 2.5%, and they could get a loan up to 50,000 under that program.
So of the 100,000 that we would agree to buy down, 50,000 of that were some funds, federal funds that were left over, and then we would be matching that $50,000 with funds from the EDC?
That's correct. 50,000 was left over from ARPA money from a previous program, and the other 50,000 was from the EDC budget.
And how many businesses did they think that they would be able to provide loans for?
It's estimated to assist about 9 businesses, provided they all take out a $50,000 loan. It could fluctuate if the loan amounts are less. But historically, they said on an average per year, it's between 9 to 12 businesses that go in to apply for those types of loans, for that amount.
Now, and on the application, talk to me about the application process. How do we distinguish, or how do we award?
Well, the EDC will not be administering the program, LIFT Fund will. So with the 100,000 that we're participating to buy down the interest, LIFT Fund will disperse up to 450,000 in loans. And so they administer the whole program, they vet the businesses who are applying for the loans. And so they have everything in place to be able to approve or decline a person for that loan program.
So are we able to direct a certain area that we want to help?
So yeah, so that's one of the things we're working to how we're going to market the program. We're working also with SBA to do an MOU between the three so that we can do community outreach and reach out to all of the small businesses, whether it be a certain area of the city. Even though the program will be available to everyone who has business in Edinburg, we'll be targeting certain areas to make sure that they are able to get the resources they need to continue their business, whether they'll be affected by certain, street or drainage improvements or economic climates, whatever it may be. We're going to hope to help those businesses in those areas.
Right, and I guess you get where I'm going with this. I'd like to see if we can direct this funding to the area that's going to be affected with the drainage project that's
Right.
going to happen.
Yeah, that's exactly why we're trying to team up with SBA and LIFT Fund, because they all work together. And so we'll incorporate the chamber as well and hopefully target those businesses and really help them. Besides the monetary also provide resources to them to help them out during that time.
And so the typical loan is a 5-year loan, is that right?
It varies, but typically I think it was between 4 and 5 years.
Okay. And so what was the reason why they wanted for us to increase it from what we had originally approved at the $20,000 to the 50, to now really $50,000 on our part plus the $50,000 in ARPA funds?
Well, it's up to 50,000. They wanted to be able to, if a business came in and really needed, 30,000 or 40,000, 20,000 was not sufficient. So they wouldn't be able to participate in the program that we were offering as a city or EDC. And so they would have to get a $30,000 or $40,000 loan at the 8 or 9% interest rate. And so they offered us to, can we increase our program participation amount so that it allows for those people to take advantage of the program at the lower
At the
interest rate.
$50,000 level, or I guess ceiling.
Right.
Well, and they have Live Fund has been around for a really long time. They're a credible organization, good reputation.
Yes. And they have everything in place. They have an online system where people can apply online, or they can go in and meet with the counselor. But they have everything in place to be able to vet and work with businesses. So if a business isn't approved for a loan, they work with them to get them approved. They show them what they need to do to be able to get their credit to a point where they can get approved.
And this amount of money is for what, 1 year, or how?
It's for a 12-month period.
Any other questions about this? I know we had heard from them some time back.
I have a question. On the screening of these loan applicants, you're still trying to determine how that's going to work, or
Well,
how that's gonna function?
the screening is done by Lift Fund.
Okay.
They have the program in place.
Okay.
And it's similar to what they offer at their regular, interest rates. This is just a program that they'll be working with us.
Well, okay, what I meant was what Dan was talking about, of trying to get a certain area that we want worked on or developed. Is that more or less what you guys are going to be
Yes,
communicating with
yes.
them about?
That was a community outreach we were talking about, because that's, like we mentioned, there may be some street improvements or drainage improvements that businesses will be affected directly because of that. And so we want to be able to work together to target those areas and make sure that they're aware of what resources are available that we're offering through the EDC and city to those
But
businesses.
no, I don't think this is a supplement to, because the street is closed. I think this is for business enhancement, for growth, isn't it? This is
Yes,
not
that's
a-
correct.
So if we target downtown or where the drainage district, they're gonna be impacted, no doubt, in terms of sales, but this ain't to remedy that, right? I mean, I thought Lyft, when they presented to us, this is about growing the business,
Right.
adding more employees, and, this is not about maintenance. Did I hear that correctly?
No, I
when they were
agree.
here?
Yeah.
No, it's not about maintenance. It's about helping those businesses. So there are some smaller businesses that,
Sure, but defining helping is very important, helping them grow. We're trying to target an area that is gonna be impacted negatively with growth.
Yeah, it's not like a PPP loan where you were just trying to
No.
keep your same
Yes.
staff in place. This is to actually, for the business to grow, be able to hire more employees, or to have more sales tax coming in. That's the
It's not
main.
just to keep them afloat.
Yeah.
It's not.
Well, I'm not disagreeing with you, but we do know that there's gonna be an economic impact with this unforeseen, well, it's been in the works for 10 years. It's fallen on our lap and on the city's lap and on the EDC. So when those businesses get affected, we have to be able to offer ideas, programs, funding, incentives to help mitigate that. I just think this is a good option to allow them to have access to loans to help float that time.
Yeah, but
We're,
the
we're
mission-
actually helping.
The mission for Lyft is not to help them float, it's to actually allow them to grow.
And they will still have to apply and meet Lyft.
Yeah, there's still a vetting process.
Eligibility.
yeah, and so
which
when
might not
we were talking about targeting some areas, it's not just monetary. It's also, SBA offers other resources. So does, the chamber has access to a lot of resources, and so really it's just advising those businesses of what's out there and what can help them. So it may be online, doing more online business for them, curbside delivery, and so sometimes they need to.
Adaptive, just like during COVID, a lot of the adaptation took money, right? So there was monies available for that.
No, but I'm just going off what Lyft presented. Lyft presented more of a, here's an opportunity for us to help,
Expansion,
companies
expansion.
and add more employees. And I think there's two thoughts being thrown out, one's a maintenance and one's a growth.
Right, and so Lift Fund directly, I think we're talking about a couple of different things and helping, certain areas, but Lift Fund program directly helps grow the businesses. And so it may be where a business needs to buy more inventory to be able to grow their business. And so that's where Lift Fund comes into play, and that's exactly what the funds would be used for.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I guess what I thought is, like, for example, let's say the roads, so the plan is to keep the roads open. Something unforeseen, like we hear at all the developments, like, oh, there was a water line there that was not in the plans, and now we have to shut down. Well, for them to have the ability to go online or sell things or just adapt, they're gonna need money. And like, I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, this isn't really to keep you afloat, but an expansion of service would fall under this where, hey, I've never done online. Now I've gotta have a platform. Now I've gotta hire people. Now I've gotta do this to be able to sell stuff online or pick up or delivery. I know that when this hit council, that was suggested on the council, like, hey, maybe this just could be another avenue of a stream of revenue for these areas that are affected. And all in all, we want to help incentivize growth north and east, right? Because this other growth is organic, natural. It's going to happen because of everything that's going on. But if we use our incentives and anything we can do to help north and east, and it was brought up that, hey, this construction, we keep saying it's only going to be a couple years, but I think it's going to be the biggest headache of this administration and this EDC board. I think it's going to be over 3 years. I think it's going to affect a lot of businesses, and we have to plan for that and give as many options as we can for monies for those businesses. Because we can't stop, that's a TxDOT thing.
There's a sentence in here on that first page in the second to last paragraph that would kind of allow for this as well. It says, by creating an interest buy-down program, the city of Edinburgh will allow more small businesses the affordable access to capital they need, especially during a time of unprecedented challenges created by the COVID-19 pandemic. So it also anticipates challenges that the business may be going through. Pandemic being one of them, I'm sure, but there's others. I would think, though, that we would want some reports from Lift Fund to see the types of businesses that are applying for them, and then what the money's going to be used for, because
Correct.
I agree, yes, there may be, we don't want it to just be a program that's going to help businesses because the city is undergoing drainage. We also want businesses that are wanting to come in, small businesses that are wanting to come in, maybe that don't exist in the city, but would like to be here and are wanting to take out a loan to start their business, or that want to expand their business, and it's not just to help people float. But I think, within the description of Lift Fund, it allows for both, but I don't think it should be one or the other solely.
Correct. I agree.
Yeah. So is everybody okay with doing the 100,000 with a buy down, with 50,000 of that being from the ARPA funds and the other 50,000 coming from the EDC budget?
Yes.
If so, can I get a motion to approve that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion by Mr. Rivera, second by Sabrina Walker Hernandez. All in favor, say aye or raise your right hand. All right, motion passes. Thank you. Okay, next item agenda is the Texas Board of Business Proposal Renewal for 2023.
Yes, ma'am, this item was brought before the board. Previously, it was an item that was cost-shared with the city and EDC. It was a $12,000 proposal, $6,000 being from the city and $6,000 on the EDC. It does provide for a half-page advertising ad for all press releases for the city and EDC. This proposal is between 10 to 12 months, depending on what's being advertised. At this point, we asked if, what our portion of the 6,000 would cover, should the EDC be the only one, continue to advertise? And it really goes down to, it's $1,000 per month, so we would get 6 months of advertising in this publication for that 6,000, should the city not renew or continue.
Do we know what the viewership is?
I don't think that they provided that, let me look at that, but we can ask and get back.
I mean, I know the magazine and it's, it's delivered everywhere you go, you see it, but I just didn't know what their viewership is.
Yeah, they did not provide that information. We can get that to you and bring it back if you'd like. It's something that our current contract has expired, and that's why we put it on here. But like I said, we can bring it back with some more information.
Is there a reason why the city doesn't want to do it?
Well, we don't know. That's why I'm saying that it just expired, and so because the EDC board was meeting first, we put it on the agenda, so it has not been considered yet by the city. But I just wanted to find out if that were to happen, what would we receive with our portion? So it'd be basically 6 months of advertising.
And it's online as well.
It's online
Right.
as well, yes.
I do know they're the same organization that distributes the medical
Mega Doctor.
Mega Doctor, yeah, so it's a large distribution.
It has a large distribution locally.
Do we see any reason why the city would not participate, Dan?
I haven't heard any of that, no.
No, we don't have that. I mean, like I just mentioned, if
It's
they
just,
were not to.
and yeah, and those publications, all the cities are on there, so it's kind of like you want that footprint also,
Yeah.
To be included, right.
It says it has, it's distributed to over 800 locations valley-wide, 15,000 copies, 51,006 readers, and then 3.5 readers per edition.
Awesome. Thank you for looking that up.
That was fast.
Very good. Google expert here.
Dr. Google. In the
Dr.
ER
Google?
We in the ER, we say, what did Dr. Google tell you today?
Smart.
Well, and I think, we see Roberto Gonzalez at every event. He's very good about making sure stories get written up. And the stories have been positive. It's not one of those where, hey, I'm trying to get somebody or, a blog or anything like that. I don't have an issue with it, but I just didn't know if anybody else had any questions or concerns.
My biggest concern was just the amount of viewers, but Ms. Sabrina, thank you for that.
Thank you. 51,000.
Answered that real quick.
Well, if everybody's okay with it, could I get a motion to approve the renewal, I guess, of the advertisement with Texas Border Business?
I'll make a motion to approve as presented.
Second.
All in favor, say aye or raise your right hand. Okay, motion passes. Wonderful. And then the last one is on the approval of the sponsorship for the Rio Grande Valley Partnerships, Rio Grande Valley's 23rd Legislative Tour. And I happen to know a little bit about this one because it's a great event. The partnership is under new leadership now with Daniel Silva, but this is one where they bring legislators from all over the state to the Rio Grande Valley to do a visit. And every time they do it, they alternate. So one year, it's going to be in Cameron County, one year it's in Hidalgo County, and then they just alternate back and forth. This time, I believe it's in Cameron County.
Correct.
But you do have, by the sponsorship, you do have the opportunity to engage at a lot of different events with the legislators, to give them your pitch, to get to know their staff, to attend lunches, dinners, and also to go on tours with them. Which can be really critical because during the session, it's a lot of times very hard to get their attention. And this happens usually at the very beginning of the session before they've been appointed their committee assignments and so forth. So it's a really good, valuable trip for the Valley overall to highlight some of the assets that we have.
What was our previous commitment?
What was that?
Previous commitment?
I couldn't find that.
I don't know that we have that. Let me see. I did highlight what the sponsorship levels are. We have not sponsored this previously, and so this was provided to us this year. There are different sponsor levels. They start at 500 and go up. The difference between the $1,500 sponsorship and the $2,500 sponsorship is, with the $2,500 sponsorship, you have one half-page color ad. But with both, you do get one VIP pass and access to all events. With the $500 sponsorship, you do not have access to the events. It's really just participation sponsorship.
So, when they say access to all events, like 4 VIP passes to access all events, what is that? Because it just says access all events, but what are the events?
They have a 4-day tour.
The legislators.
So it's just access.
They'll have mixers, and they'll say, we're going here or there.
Yeah, like, like they'll do in Cameron County, a lot of times they'll go to the port, they'll go to, Texas, TSC, or to different spots, and you would go along with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's mixers, there's, like, when they come in, there's an event at the airport usually, and then they go to maybe Valley Baptist, and there's a mixer there. And so I guess depending on, some of those are open, so then you can really send more than one. But then sometimes, like, they do a bus tour, and if you're the VIP person, you're the one that gets to travel on the bus with them to the next event.
And it's a 4-day event.
Okay.
So I see that, the board, but it says Rodell Harlingen EDC. I was gonna say, who's that one VIP, being that Rodell's already on the board?
Well, it could be a board member.
Right, that was my thought, like, who the participation would determine kind of the level, would it not?
Right.
So is the city also looking at doing this, or is it just the EDC that
This
would
is just for the
participate?
EDC's participation.
Okay, but do you think that the city of Edinburgh is also considering a sponsorship? Do we
They
know?
haven't submitted a request for the city to participate in this event.
Oh, okay.
Have they submitted, or have they in the past asked us to participate? EDC, I don't remember this from last year.
This is the first time
This is
that
the
we
first
receive
time
it.
they did.
Well, the legislature only meets every other year, so,
No, but,
yeah.
yeah.
But the time before that, probably, I don't know. I know UTRGV's participated every time. I'm trying to remember if Edinburgh had people there, but most of the cities do have someone there, or their EDCs do have someone there.
I don't know that this is maybe the first time that they asked for sponsorships. I know that in the previous years, a while back, we've always participated somehow on this legislative tour to some extent, but I don't recall a sponsorship.
Yeah, no, they've always had sponsorships, because I know it's always been expensive, but there are some events that are pretty much open, and so they invite people to come on out, but then when they do like, they've had some things over at Rancho Guadalupe that Alonso has, right, and they'll have something there, and if you're a sponsor, then you can send someone, or a visit to Valley Baptist, or wherever they may be.
And the value in this is mixers and
It's the ability to go and to take your legislative agenda and basically advocate for your EDC, your city, your entity at these events, and also to get to know the legislator and their staff, because they usually bring their staff. And throughout the session, you're going to be probably talking to the staff a lot, and you want to be able to have made a connection. A lot of it is the networking, so.
And so based on that information, it would be good to have our CEO at this event, at minimum, correct?
I think so.
Okay. And then it would be about, does any other board member want to participate in it? And if that's the case, then it would go up to, you would need 2 VIP. And that would take you to, I think you only get 2 at the $5,000 level.
Nelda, what do you all recommend?
Well, I need to confirm with Rodell, because he's on the board, he may be already invited on this tour. I'm not sure how that would work. So if that's the case, then we would have one board member use that VIP pass.
Well, then can we kind of table this and make a decision at our next meeting?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we can bring that back.
Yeah, let's ask him. I know the university is going to sponsor it as well. I don't know yet at what level. and most likely I'll be the person that they assign to go to it. And so I can,
And I'm a part
I
of
can
the-
do double duty on it, yeah.
And I'm part of the partnership class, so.
There you go. So we may be able to have more without having to sponsor at a higher level.
Right,
Okay. Yeah, we'll confirm that and bring it back.
okay, thank you.
All right. And the other items we have are under our executive session, so may I get a motion to move into executive session?
Second?
Second, all right. All in favor, say aye, or raise your right hand. Okay. We are now exiting into executive session, and it is at 5:50.